New optics, rifles, pistols, and more from 12 different brands this week on TGC News. Welcome back to another episode of the Gun Collective News, the only gun news show that covers things that you actually care about. My name is John Patton. If you guys want to know about the wall behind me, hit the link in the video description. That'd be rad. It's cool. I like it. I hope you like it. Trade show season is here. And with that, we are going to see an absolute mountain of new stuff over the next few weeks, probably few weeks, whatever. I'm not going to get deep into any of these, so put your running shoes on and try to keep up. Let's kick this week off with some accessories, shall we? First is from a company called Breakthrough Clean. This is the first time I've seen a dedicated suppressor cleaning kit, so I figured I'd share it with you guys. Long story short, there is a sort of tube for soaking the can, a little tray, the cleaner, some other stuff, blah, 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 to make it all work together. It's not cheap at $60, but I suppose if you wanted to clean your can, this might make it easier. Personally, I only clean my rimfire cans. I do not clean any of my centerfire suppressors, because you kind of don't have to. Moving on to some new optics. You guys said last week that you wanted to see more optics, so here we go. Laser Max is the latest to get on the Chinesium train with a bunch of new optics. They are now slinging 4 different models, all which look a lot like what tons of other brands are selling right now. And let's be honest, they're probably coming out of the same factories. They have an enclosed style, a tube style, a compact, and what they're calling a micro. This is a flat-out race to the bottom for pricing on these, and the more brands that come to market with the exact same optics or very, very similar optics, the more obvious that will become. I'm not saying they're bad by any means. I like the optics, but the pricing will start to dictate which products get purchased over others, in my eyes. How about some American-made optics now? Leupold announced the Mark IV HD, and it's basically the little brother to one of my favorite scopes of all time, the Mark V HD. They are based around a 4:1 zoom ratio. That said, there are 5 models on launch: a 1 to 4.5, a 2.5 to 10, a 4.5 to 18, 6 to 24, and the big boy 8 to 32. We may have to get a hold of that 8 to 32 for some precision work. Wow. If these scopes perform anywhere near the Mark V HD that I love so much, it'll be a home run. My buddy Matt Foster from Catalyst Arms has a deeper look at these for you guys, and there is a link to his video in the description. It's seriously a really high quality video. Go watch it. Pricing ranges from $1,000 up to $1,600 depending on the optic and reticle combo. That is about half the price of the Mark V series. I am really eager to see how these stack up. And we have some more new optics for you. This time from EOTech under the new Voodoo X line. They say this new line is designed to meet the demands of the outdoor enthusiast, which is marketing speak for we didn't know what else to say. Does that mean the other scopes aren't designed for that? Like, what are we talking about here? All kidding aside, though, these are essentially a more affordable set of scopes with the 1 to 6 by 24 second focal plane starting at $800 and the 2 to 12 by 40 second focal plane again starting at $859. Both have 30 mil tubes and illuminated reticles. Honestly, it's probably smart that they offer something more people can afford because EOTech's star has sort of faded a bit over the last few years and government contracts don't last forever. Speaking of affordable optic, how's about we hear from this week's sponsor, Gideon Optics. Gideon Optics offers affordability with some really solid features in optics like the Mediator with its selectable reticle system, which is an enclosed optic meant to take a beating. The Omega with its huge 27 by 22 window, RMR footprint, and 3 MOA dot, or the Alpha, which has a 65 MOA circle around a 3 MOA dot, again in the common RMR footprint. To learn more, head over to GideonOptics.com, and to make them even more affordable, use TGC at checkout. How's about some new guns? I'm sure you guys would like to see that. That's kind of what this show is all about. Canik has a new signature series of Mété SF, or meat gun as I like to call it. It's called Apocalypse, and it looks like you might think, like an apocalyptic gun. Pricing is $800 for that, which is a $280 premium over the regular Mété SF. the Meat SF. Beretta has a new version of the 1301 Tactical called the Mod 2. There are 9 different color and stock combos, but the main changes come in the form of a new semi-flat trigger, which looks cool, a new set of M-lock slots on the fore end, and more aggressive texture, and a fancy new shell lifter. The MSRP starts at $1,800, which is not cheap. Now, I have been a Beretta shotgun fan since I first reviewed the A400 XL 12 years ago, and the A400 Extreme a year after that. Heck, I even reviewed the 1301 about 8 years ago, not long before TGC started, all on my old channel, of course. This thing is a continuation of that legacy, but I suppose you have to decide if you want to spend that much on a shotgun. I know people get weird about shotguns. Oh, they have to be cheap. No. Good shotguns are worth the money, I promise. Savage released a new version of the 110 called the Magpul Scout. They call this the ultimate multi-purpose firearm, which I call a load of bullshit because the AR-15 is that. However, this is likely a response to Savage putting out a ton of guns with MDT chassis and stocks on them in recent times, and Magpul wanting to reclaim their title as head of accessories in the gun world. This gun is available in 308, 450 Bushmaster, hell yeah, or 6.5 Creedmoor, all with a 16.5-inch barrel with a brake, AICS pattern mags, and a Scout-style setup with actual iron sights and a pick rail on top. It's kind of rare these days to see a bolt gun with iron sights, so I suppose that's neat. MSRP on these is $10.59. Ruger has answered the call of old men across the country by offering the A-Team gun for realsies this time. It seems like they realized that Samson Manufacturing struck a chord by offering the A-Team folding stock that they sell, and Ruger decided to offer it as a complete gun. They say that this stuff is made from the original tooling. It's kind of lame. They should have gone with Samson stuff. If they didn't, maybe it's behind the scenes. I don't know. But I don't think that actually matters. This is essentially a tactical style Mini 14, and the MSRP is $18.50. That hurts. Don't go look up the price of the A-Team van right now. Inflation is a bitch. You still with me? Okay. We've got a bunch more guns to cover, so let's pick up the pace, because Bergara has 4 new ones. The Stoke, which is a hunting-style bolt-action for smaller folks, and carries an MSRP of $9.29, and can be had in 9 different calibers. It's essentially a rifle with a shorter length of pull for little guys out there. There's also the Crest Carbon, which is fancy and has a carbon barrel, carbon stock, and comes in 6 caliber options. Pricing there starts at $2,100 and goes up $50 for the PRC calibers. It's a precision-style gun that weighs under 6.5 pounds across the board, so if you maybe shoot that style of gun all the time and you want to go hunting, this could be interesting for that sort of switch. They also released the Wilderness Sierra, which starts at 1,100 bones and has a fluted barrel, a brake, adjustable cheek riser, and a sporter style stock. I'm not really sure how this fits into their lineup because it weighs 7.4 to 7.7 pounds and can be had in 11 different cartridges, with 6 of those being offered in a left-hand variant for $30 more. It's kind of been years since I fired a centerfire rifle from them, but I'm sure it'll be decent if you want to drop that much coin on that. I don't know, it kind of seems like a blah setup. And rounding them out for new stuff is the MG Micro Light. MG stands for Magnesium XLR chassis. Again, it has a carbon barrel, and in combo with that magnesium, you'll see carbon parts on the stock as well. There's also a TriggerTech trigger in there, which is nice. Some other stuff, of course, it's all nice. And this one can be had in 3 calibers only, 308, 6.5 Creed, or 6.5 PRC. The price is about where you think it'll be. $3,100 for the 308 and Creed version, and $50 more for the PRC. The weight is just shy of 6 pounds. So I suppose if you go on one of those grueling sheep hunting trips or elk hunting trips into the deep woods or super steep mountains, this could be worth the price. If it shoots well, of course. You know what? Let's do the deal of the week. I'm going to knock this out. It's super simple this week. A 6-pack of 50 cal ammo cans for way less than you might normally see those, under $20 a can. If you don't know this, they make really, really good storage options for a lot of different types of gear. There's a link in the description. More new guns, you say? Yes, let's have some. TSOS is on a tear right now because they're releasing 5 new ones. First, there's the Yawn Fest, known as the 1911A1. It has an MSRP of $480 and comes at 45 or 9mm. Blech. They also released a new 5.7 pistol called the PX57, which is super interesting. It comes with 20-round mags, a 4.8-inch barrel, and it's cut for optics, with an MSRP of, get ready, $500. Some of the images you're seeing are from the Turkish website, because in gun industry tradition, the main website isn't ready when the gun is announced to the public. Super smart, guys. That is priced to rival the PSA Rock, so let's hope it doesn't suck. Then there are 3 new double-stack 1911s from them, and thank the good Lord, they are all optic cut. You have the B9R DS, the B9R Carry DS, and the DS9 Night Stalker. The 2 B9Rs are virtually the same except for the barrel length. And the Night Stalker has a 5.5-inch threaded barrel, lightning cuts in the slide, and is Cerakoted. The B9Rs have an MSRP of $800, while the Night Stalker is $960 MSRP. By the way, that is the name of an actual serial killer, and naming your gun after a serial killer is the equivalent of naming your car the Drunk Driver. However, the pricing on these has me curious. If they aren't absolute trash, maybe they'd be worth a look. I don't know yet. And we have yet another Turkish double-stack 1911, and hilariously, it's also made by TSOS, but it's imported into the US by a company called Military Armament Corporation. As such, this is a very similar gun, so I won't bore you with anything besides the fact that it's cut for an RMR as opposed to an RMSC cut, okay? And it has an MSRP of $1,100. Are we like about to see a wave of cheap double stack 1911s this year, like rolling in from Turkey? Like we did with like Benelli clones? Turk Nellies, yo! Sound off in the comments with your thoughts. God, I'm dumb. How's about a gun that is even more affordable still? The gun is called the RM1C. And it's from a company called Roast Martin, or Roast Martin. I'm gonna call it the Roast Beef Company, because it makes me laugh and I'm a man-child. This roast beef brand was actually started by a couple industry veterans, and the gun looks pretty interesting. At the core, we have a striker-fired 9mm with a 4-inch barrel, optic cut, with an RMR plate included. It also appears to have decent texture on the grip and gas pedal area, and it comes with 115 and 117 round mag. You can have it in any color as long as it's black, gray, or flat dark dookie, and I'm told by the people that run the company that it takes CZ75 mags, which means they are not proprietary and not hard to find. The MSRP here is $459, and that means it'll be closer to $400 on dealer shelves. That is a ton of value out of the box for a brand new company. And that is, of course, assuming that this isn't a huge pile of garbage. This appears to be a new design. It borrows elements from Glocks, it borrows obviously from CZ75s, and Lord knows what else. So hopefully, for their sake, it doesn't suck.